Damn, okay. I've been out the way in the cut, it's been a minute.
Yo, what's up? You can create some value and where you can actually distinguish yourself is if you're able to do that, but with big soon. Have a good one. Peace. Boom. What you saw me do there was talk to actually someone I used to go to university with in Canada, and this is a really cool, ambitious guy. He's been doing content stuff in general, and lately I've been having some pretty crazy ideas, which is why I've also started to document this in such a serious manner as I have lately. That's because in 1, 2, 3 years this shit's gonna be big. And I have quite big, ambitious goals, and if you had been able to look at some of these people who build cool stuff, like, and now I'm not saying, like, I'm not trying to compare to Elon Musk, because that's not what I'm aspiring to do, and that's not realistic for everyone. But like, even if it's 100th of that, someone that successful, imagine if they have recorded all of this from the beginning, and that becomes like a playbook, a recipe for how other people can do it in the future, also for yourself, and also for a general motivation. So that's why I'm recording this. But I want to focus a little bit more on the personal brand that I'm building, and I want to have a little bit more strategy. Right now, I've just been putting this stuff up for me, and I've been doing it for me and me myself only. So it hasn't really been a strategy associated with it, but now I'm working with a strategist to like dial this in a little bit, make it a little bit more coherent, and really like create a valuable offering for the people who choose to tune in and watch what I'm doing. So it's going to be quite interesting now over the next couple of months to see where this goes, and I'm quite confident in it. I'm quite confident in him, in his ability to help me strategize, so it's gonna be interesting. But that's what this call was now. Now we're gonna clean up a little bit here at my girlfriend's place, as you can see, so I'm gonna do some cleaning, and then we're gonna do a little bit of maths on these palm bags that I have. And I'm gonna show you later what my current like unit economics problem is, and I'll give you an example of how, or I'll give you a straight in look in how I have to evaluate all of these business decisions that I take in regards to these bags. Okay, so here is a little bit of a live view into one of the problems that I'm typically dealing with when it comes to physical products. So, as you may know, I have this rope bag that I'm selling called the Palm U bag. I'm going to show you quickly which one it is, just for reference. So this is this square rope bag that I have designed and started selling at retailers. Wait for the train. I started selling at retailers all over the world. So, as you can see, we have quite some ones all over New Zealand, Canada, Europe, all over. But we're launching a smaller one, a 17-liter one. So the current one is, is larger. So this one's 32 liters, and we're launching a slightly smaller one, but with the same shape and the colors reversed. So it's pretty cool. But now I have the production run's done, so I have 500 units sitting at the factory. But I'm going to show you now exactly now what the margins look like, as well as the decisions I have to make in regards to pricing. So for the other bag, we charge $44 to retailers, and this bag is 32 liters, so there's slightly more material. It's larger. It's a little bit, not really more premium, but it's a larger bag, so it's, yeah, you'd expect it to be slightly more expensive. However, for us, the cost for the two is actually not that different, because a lot of the cost is not from the material, a lot of the cost is from the production. And when you produce a bag, it doesn't really matter if it's 6 centimeters longer on one side than the other. The production time is relatively similar, so the price of it ends up being relatively similar. However, where you can make a big difference is the shipping. So we have expedited, which is I think by air to Europe and then by truck from Europe to Sweden. And DDP stands for delivery upon. DDP is essentially all fees paid. So if you choose DDP, all the fees are paid, including the imports, the taxation, all of that stuff. So that's already done. And we're only using DDP because we don't want to have to deal with the tax authorities and all that, and what do you call them? The people who manage what comes into the country. So the decisions that we're looking to make right now is, let's zoom in a little bit, is what we're choosing in regards to pricing. So we are paying $6,160 for all of the bags. That works out to a unit cost of $12.3 excluding any shipping. Once you add shipping, it costs, it takes 35 days for the 2,536 option, which is the expedited, or you can pay slightly less and get it in 55 days, or even less than that and get it in 65 days by sea. And this has obviously a big impact on the margin, as you can see, because the shipping is, essentially a third of the entire product cost, which is pretty crazy. So if we then look at this with shipping, this is the unit cost per bag. So 17.4, 16.4,
or $16 per bag to get it to Sweden, DDP, all fees paid. And if we then look at what we can charge the retailers to then have a decent margin, we can charge them slightly more and slightly less, depending on what we would choose. And then obviously the retailer will be able to charge a little bit what they want to, but they can charge anywhere between $58 and $56 and make a margin that's around 45 to 50%, which is pretty good for a retailer. Now obviously it's a low ticket item. They only make, $20 per bag on this stuff. So obviously you need to sell a lot of bags for it to become valuable. But once you have a big assortment, it's often combined with other products. And then a 48 to 50% margin is very good. Like, let me tell you, we have lower margins on a lot of our products. So I might consider lowering this in the future, but we shall see. But this is also what's made it quite attractive. But we maintain quite a healthy margin of around 130%, 125 to 135%. And what my choice is essentially, because I think rail is out of the picture because it's 10 days less than the sea, which is not really a big difference. Now, this is a whole month quicker than the sea option. But now we're at a spot where we have stock already. We don't really have any outstanding orders because we haven't launched this product yet, so no one's really waiting for it. So what we could do is we could pick C, and it will save a little bit of money. That way, we'll be able to make 135% on all bags. We can probably increase this price slightly as well. But say we charge 38.5. We're able to make 140% margin, and retailers are making a 45% margin, which is pretty good if they're selling it for the $56 that we're recommending, which is $10 or so lower than what we're charging for the larger bag. So I think this is the option I'm gonna go for. It's gonna be what lands at the lowest customer price as well. So they can charge anywhere between $55 and $56 and still have a 45% margin, which is pretty good. And also we make the bag quite attractive for customers because it's not incredibly expensive. So we're gonna probably end up choosing the C and pay all of those fees. So I don't wanna do this yet though, because I have discovered this trick where I can pay this with my personal credit card, get the airline miles, and then just expense it on the company. And then obviously I'll have to deal with the taxation in regards to those miles, but that's typically quite low and probably worth it in these instances. So I'm gonna wait a little bit with paying this until I get that card. But this is the choice we're gonna make. So this is our rough pricing at the moment. We're gonna charge approximately $38.5 to retailers. Right now we're charging $46 for the larger bag. They're gonna be able to charge customers around $56, and we're gonna make 141% margin, and they're gonna make a 45% margin. So per bag, let's see in absolute money what we're making. We're making $22 per bag in absolute profit, and the retailer will be making $17.5 in absolute profit. So we're in a pretty good position, and I think in a lot of roles this is reversed, where the distributor is making slightly less than the retailer is, or it's often quite 50-50 from my understanding. But we're in a good position with this, in that we have an attractive price point, we have a decent margin for our retailers, and we have a good margin for ourselves. So this is what I'm going to stick with. Now it's time to do some more work for the evening. Probably not going to film much because I have a couple of meetings I don't really want to share. And we're going to get to more stuff, more interesting stuff in the morning. See you then. And boom, just like that, we're at my girlfriend's apartment. On camera that looked like a seamless transition, but it actually took a couple of minutes. Now, what I've been working on lately is, let's turn the camera around, I'm gonna show you, is this. So I'm building a little bit of a landing page. Right now or in the future, there's gonna be some other cool stuff here. But I'm building a landing page where I'm gonna be able to share some information, where I'm gonna be able to collect some email addresses so that I can share some insights, some knowledge. Like, I do have a couple of articles that I've written that I've never really shared, that I'm looking to share. And I'm also working on sharing a Notion template that I use to plan. So I have this Notion template that I use to plan all of my stuff. So it's like, as you can see, you can plan tasks, projects, etc. And I'm now working on making this a little bit more scalable so that I can share it as a freebie with everyone who subscribes to that newsletter. So that's what I've been working on this afternoon in addition to cleaning. Tomorrow we're actually going to hold a seminar about safety helmets. And my issue is I don't know nothing about safety helmets. And I have written some cheat notes here that I haven't studied at all, that I'm gonna have to study tomorrow morning, because I like to do those things last minute. Like, if you're holding a speech, don't practice before it, because that's when you just sound like you're, or I guess it depends on the level. Like, if you're holding a speech in front of 1,000 people and you need to be perfect, of course, practice it. If you're just holding a speech for 20 people, explaining something, you don't need to practice it. It's gonna take a lot of time, and if you know your stuff, you're probably just better off. You're probably better off just explaining it on top of your head as opposed to planning it. But that was today, not a very exciting day, to be honest. Not much happened. A lot of time was spent or wasted, so to speak, on cleaning. And I got some stuff done here on my landing page, where I'm gonna be able to share this stuff in the future. But let's pick up tomorrow morning for the speech that we're making, and then we're going to view some future apartments as well, which is gonna be a fun evening activity.
Their major research breakthrough.
Alright, we're riding on the way back. We got the back there filled with helmets. So what I was doing is I went to the local school for arborists, or I'm not really sure what you call it in English, but it's like a vocational school where people go for 2 years, they do quite a lot of practical work, and then they become an arborist. An arborist, again, is someone who climbs in trees, and that's the store that I'm running. We sell gear to arborists, which is why it was highly relevant for me to go and speak about helmets. Now, here's the thing. I don't know anything about helmets, and I don't know anything about safety, and I don't know anything about standards. A little bit of an exaggeration. I do know some stuff from my days at Arbeidsprediken. But I also forgot all of my notes inside of the bag in the car, so I had to wing all of it, which is pretty fine. Like, it worked out pretty good. I'm usually quite comfortable speaking in front of people like that. I can usually just rely a little bit on like charisma or whatever you want to call it. So I think it turned out pretty good, and people were quite happy with it. They got to try some helmets. So all good in the hood. Now we're riding back to Arbeidsprediken. As you can see, we're on the road, and we're gonna go back. We're gonna sort some admin stuff, and then in the afternoons I have a couple of other things to work on regarding Arbeidsprediken, as well as some product development. So let's get into the day, man.
Tjena! Jo! Alltså som de sa, under lansering och första året kommer inte det vara något problem.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting towards the end of the night. It's 10:30, and I'm working now currently on some features. So one of the things that I've implemented here is now in this app. If I press this, we can not go past January. I'll give us a drop back, and also I'll have the day of the week before the date here, so it's a little bit easier to pick from there. So I'm also working on a little bit on coding. There's a guy who's been onboarded from Uruguay, and he's been working great. So we're really speeding up the development of this, which is fun to see. But I think we're gonna call it a vlog there. Quite some random content. I hope there was something to take away or learn or whatever from there at least. I'm also starting to build a little bit on creating some value for the team, for the community. So as you may know, I have been using a Notion type of board for quite some time for organizing all my stuff. And now what I'm doing is I'm creating actually a Notion template that I'm going to be able to share with you. So if you want it, it's down in the link below, and that will also give you access to some other cool stuff. So we're going to leave it there for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like these ones, then feel free to subscribe. It's completely free, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.